Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm talking about changing an assumption. Can you change an assumption? First of all, let's look at what an assumption is. An assumption is something that's naturally there. We haven't had to work at putting it into our subconscious, it's there. And a lot of assumptions we have, we don't even know that we have. So an assumption is a very free-flowing thing. So when you talk about changing an assumption, you're better off looking at it a different way and not calling it changing an assumption, because I don't really think that that's what it is. What we're looking at doing is either implanting something else, or we are looking at getting rid of what is there. Now, I find it and have found it, and my clients find it so much easier to rid themselves of what is there at the moment that's holding them back without trying to put something else in there. Because the thing is, you don't need to. Once you've eradicated what it is, or at least got it down to under 40%, for example, you're going to feel differently anyway. You are going to have a shift, because what's happening is, because that's gone, you then have a clean slate, something fresh. You're working from a completely new reference point. So your subconscious isn't dealing with that anymore. It doesn't bring that into whatever it is that you're manifesting, because it's gone. You've dealt with it. And there are two ways to deal with this. Well, I'm sure there are loads of ways to deal with it, but these are the two ways that I have used and that I've taught other people to use. You may have seen one of my shorts recently when I talked about destroying limiting beliefs using a hard drive technique, which I call the hard drive technique. This I've used I used it frequently back in the day. I use it on the odd occasion now if I feel a bit stuck. I've passed it on to so many clients and all of my members that know about it and have been doing it for a while. On and off, lots of them, and get huge success with it. First of all, feeling better. So it makes you feel better because it's extremely empowering thing to do. So let's say you have an assumption about a certain person, for example, and you feel they are whichever way they are, and you know that you feel that, and you're trying to assume something different in order to have them show up in your life. So how are you going to deal with that? You're going to imagine that belief, so that assumption that you have about them, is running on a hard drive inside of you. And yes, everything is running on this hard drive really, but we're going to separate and we're going to have lots of little mini hard drives. So deal with this one issue. So you imagine taking the hard drive out of yourself. If you're not good with visuals, you can just feel it. You know, it doesn't matter. You don't have to see anything clearly here. When I talk about visualization, some people just don't see in pictures. However you see in your mind is good. It doesn't matter. So you're taking it out of yourself and you're looking at it in your mind and you see a label on it. So it's this assumption, this thing that you feel about this person or whatever it is. This isn't purely related to people, but I'm just giving you an example here. You're going to destroy this. So you are going to send a clear signal to your subconscious mind that this is not it. This is not a thing. This is to be destroyed. So you're going to drop the hard drive on the floor. So whichever way you want to see the hard drive, what feels comfortable to you, how does this hard drive look? It doesn't matter. There are no rules here. It can look and feel whatever you want it to be. It is that. But what you want it to be is something that you know you're going to be able to smash up. So imagine that you've got very big, heavy boots on, like Dr. Martens or something like that. Really heavy, clumpy boots. Drop the hard drive onto the floor and you're looking at a concrete floor. Just imagine you're outside and it's a hard concrete floor, and then you're going to stamp into it. Keep stamping, keep stamping, keep stamping until it's in as many pieces as it can be, and then feel that momentum that you get from destroying this, bashing this up, smashing this into the ground. Now, what does this do? You could do this and feel relief in an instant, but I generally find 2-3 weeks is a good amount of time to do it, but doing it religiously every single day and maybe twice a day if it's something that's really ingrained in there. When you do this, you are sending a very clear signal to your subconscious mind that this is not a thing. This is done with. So yet you can just talk to your subconscious and say this, but you will feel an immense amount of power when you do this, because even when you think about stamping something really, really hard into the ground, you really feel the momentum that goes with that. So that is, and you can use this for absolutely everything, for any limiting belief you have, anything you want to get rid of, you can deal with it like this. Now, I'm not saying this is going to work for everyone, but everybody that I've given it to has had some form of relief from it. Some have had amazing results, that it's led them on to manifesting the things that they want. Some have felt immensely better. Some have felt much more detached, because you can do it with attachment as well. Doesn't matter what it is. You stick any label on it. You know what it is. You're destroying it. So that's the first method, and arguably the most powerful, because it gives you that feeling of empowerment as you're doing it, especially where people are concerned and you're destroying things that are really detrimental to you in moving forward with people. The other thing is simply to heal it. I like the word heal. A client spoke to me about this a few years ago now, and I've kept it and I've worked with it, I've used it, I've given it to other people. So if you want something a bit gentler, you just say, whatever this assumption is, I heal this assumption, or I heal this belief, I heal this feeling, whatever it is that's going on inside of you that's holding you back. Again, I can get instant relief on certain things, especially if it's something that I've realised that I believe or think and I know is a nonsense. So my rational brain knows it's stupid and it's nonsense, so it's much easier then. So I can get instant relief and I can feel something gone in a moment. But then again, for other things, I can maybe take 2 or 3 weeks using that. The thing is, the more you do this, the less you need to do this, because those feelings and that are kind of dissolved much more naturally because you're so used to doing it. What I will say is do it. This is the thing, when I give techniques like this or I tell people things, some people will do it religiously and some people won't, because we're a bit like that, aren't we? If we think, and we're kind of like half think it might work, half think it won't, we don't really bother, and we might find that we've gone 3 or 4 days and haven't done it. This is about continuity. This is about consistency. So you're doing it as an exercise and you're giving yourself an amount of time to do it. So you're going, okay, and I love to work with 2 weeks because I think 14 days is a really good amount of time to feel like, yeah, I've really done something here. I've taken some really great internal action that is going to have an effect. And it's not too long. So you even mark it on the calendar, because otherwise what happens is you go on and on and on. Because you get stuck and you feel like you need to keep doing it. You don't need to keep doing it. This is just about sending us an instruction to your subconscious. And one more thing to add, before you do either of these things, state to your subconscious what you want to achieve by doing this. I want blah, 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 whatever it is that you want. That is a really key factor for me, is always stating and being really clear with my subconscious and then backing it up. So you're creating a really solid foundation for this to change. Now you can look at putting another assumption in there, but I would suggest you do this first. So let's get rid of that one if we want to, and then we can add something else in. So we've wiped the slate clean, because then it's much easier to start layering it up with something new once we've got rid of the old. What you want to avoid is if you start doing that and then you feel any resistance, just stop. Because once you've wiped the slate clean, or as clean as it can be, if you've got to under 40% of that feeling, then what you don't want to do is cause any more resistance by trying to add something different and not feeling it and really feeling like, oh, but that's nonsense. You don't have to believe it, and if you can just get over that and go, oh, that's nonsense, but yeah, whatever, that's fine. But if not, then I just say stop, because you're already shifted by what you've done. You've already shifted, so just carrying on, and then use it for a different thing. Whatever inside of us, we've got so much stuff that we could do with getting rid of and wiping that slate clean, but it's finding it and do it like this. See it as a hobby. See it as something that you just really, really enjoy. A bit like me and my skincare. Like, I really love it. It's a hobby, and I'm passing it on to my friends all of the time, different things. Like, a couple of my friends at the moment are doing facial exercises that I do. I've passed them on to somebody that I follow on Instagram, and they're both really, really into it. And it's a really great kind of seeing it as a fun thing. How can I change this about my face? How can I change that about my face? Oh, I'd like to see if I can do this and do that. So you kind of do it like that. How can I've got this going on, and this, I know this holds me back a little bit. What can I do about that? Should we have a go at that? So you kind of see it in that way. You just throw yourself into it as a whole, not for one particular thing and then don't do it again. You just keep doing it until you really enjoy doing it. It becomes part of your life. And then you realise you have almost stopped completely doing it, because you don't need to, because you've moved and you've shifted to such a point that you don't need to do it anymore, because you're naturally dissolving these things as soon as they come up. You're just saying it to your subconscious, oh, dissolve that, that's what I do. Please get rid of this, sort this out for me. You get good at it, but that naturally happens. You don't purposely decide to stop. I didn't decide to stop doing any of that stuff. I just realised I didn't do it anymore. I realised, why don't I do it anymore? Oh, because I don't need to do it anymore.